Last month, we talked about Bitcoin potentially getting to 100,000 in November. It did not happen, but it happened late last night on December 4th. Last time I checked, Bitcoin was up at about 102,000. So we have officially broke that barrier. It will be interesting to me if Bitcoin kind of follows its normal path. What I mean by that is there's this kind of quiet time for Bitcoin, and then it takes out certain numbers and the masses come. I've been through, I guess, two real cycles in Bitcoin, and there's always this moment or this time where it kind of goes parabolic, where the casual viewers suddenly realize it's a thing and they buy, and then it just keeps going higher and higher. So it'll be interesting to see where we go from here. I know that we spoke with Dan Bird on the weekend about where he thought Bitcoin would go, and he pointed at a number of 102,500, which he called another Fibonacci level. We certainly got to that number and then a little bit. So I think he's been pretty good on this so far. He talked about it falling from 100 to 90. I think it got just to about 90 and some change, and then thought it would break and go to 102 and change. So I don't know. I think I'll be asking him about what's next for Bitcoin on the weekend. Lots of stuff to go through today. We got some comments from Powell. We got some capital economics talking about the U.S. economy. We got the Fed beige book and so much more. I do want to first acknowledge something I saw yesterday morning. I didn't have a lot of details on it, but it looks like more and more stuff has come out. And that was the tragic assassination of the United Healthcare CEO. I don't know if you've seen the footage, but it is clearly not a random act. I don't know if you've seen it. I saw this morning that there were 3 shell casings left at the scene with the following words: deny, defend, and depose. This is starting to feel like one of those TV detective shows. Maybe, if you're old enough to remember Castle, who was a book writer, worked with a New York detective. This is like crazy movie level stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what happens from here. Clearly, we all hope that the perpetrator is captured. But again, with the words deny, defend, and depose, there certainly is a bigger story there. Snoop Dogg, yes, folks, we're talking about Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg gave his daughter a $1 million wedding present. And then he dropped this little nugget for all of us. Snoop Dogg talked about getting a financial windfall and what he would recommend his daughter do with this $1 million gift. Basically, Snoop Dogg's recommendation is anytime you have a financial windfall, especially if it is unexpected, aka free money, you should enjoy some of it, 10%, and bank, save, invest the other 90%. I thought this was an interesting topic to discuss on the Daily Financial News because most of us were given some financial windfalls during the pandemic. And near as we can tell based on consumer behavior, nearly no one saved a penny. Historically speaking, after studying consumers for 30 plus decades, consumers do not do what Snoop Dogg suggests. But we all should acknowledge it, and we should try to do better. When you get a financial windfall, feel free to enjoy 10%, but save, invest, rainy day, the other 90%. Shout out financial planner expert Snoop Dogg for that interesting tidbit. Let's talk about the Fed beige book. The Fed beige book, again, is a summary of what is going on in the various Fed districts. And, on general, it was a positive beige book. The first one I can remember in 3 or 4 months. First, economic activity rose slightly in most districts. We had seen that go the other direction. In fact, I think last month we saw all districts contract. Prices rose, but only modestly. Firms were more optimistic about 2025, but they were concerned about tariffs. A Fed pause on rate cuts hinted and bolstered by a strong jobs report. We get the jobs report tomorrow. I don't know. I've shared with you my belief that they will do a December cut and then no cuts at least for the first half of 25. But I think I was the first economics person to say that there's a chance that there are zero cuts in 2025. So again, I stand by that, called that stuff pretty early. So we will see what happens. Not to be outdone, we've got Capital Economics Chief Economist Thomas, I'm going to call him Ryan. He's talking about the housing affordability. He expects housing affordability crisis to persist into 2026. That's interesting. That's even longer than I am looking. Again, I am looking for 2025 to be the last hard year. By hard year, I mean transactions for existing home sales below 4 million. I see it getting much better in 26. Of course, I am banking this on learning history, assuming that history never repeats, but it does rhyme. Again, I would ask you to go back and looking housing statistics from 1978 to 1982. That is the only period in time that is anywhere similar to today. You can see transactions crash 50%, and you can see what happens to home prices. If you haven't looked at the 54-year spreadsheet, I do not know what you are doing. It's something that is for free and holds the key to understanding what could happen in the future. If you don't know where it is, just go to my website, onerentalatatime.com, and you will find it there. Good old Fed Chair Jerome Powell was out talking. Jerome Powell compares Bitcoin to gold. It is not a threat to the dollar, which I think is an interesting discussion from Powell. He's basically saying, hey, we have a whole set of generations, folks that are looking at Bitcoin as the replacement for gold in their portfolios. This is not the time that Bitcoin is going to destroy the US dollar. I don't know for sure, but I think the crypto world would see that comment as a net positive. Jerome Powell historically has not been even willing to discuss it. So I think this has to be seen as a net positive by that community. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. I do have a funny story for those of you not in the Bitcoin world. Just give you a funny story. There was a young man who spent 10,000 Bitcoin on pizza. Yes, back in the day when Bitcoin was obviously much cheaper, probably in the pennies. There was a young man that said, you know what? I will give you 10,000 Bitcoin for a large pizza. Might have even been 2 large pizzas. Guess what that 10,000 Bitcoin is worth today? That's $1 billion pizza, folks. I hope it was a good pizza. Yes, folks, 10,000 Bitcoin at today's prices is $1 billion. Ouch. Ouch. That has to hurt. Folks, over the weekend with Dan Bird, we did a commodities review. If you haven't seen that video, one of the things you are missing is we were talking about food prices. If you looked at last month, we all saw food prices skyrocket. In fact, food prices are the highest they've been all year. This is no bueno for inflation. And what did we have yesterday? Excuse me. Global food prices recently rose to an 18-month high. Folks, the inflation battle is not over. The inflation battle is not over. Fed President Daly says she's going to wait until the December meeting for a decision, basically saying she hasn't made up her mind. There is no urgency to decrease interest rates. Could December be a pause? Perhaps. Again, I think the Fed will give it the quarter, and then telegraph being hawkish, and again, potentially hawkish all of next year. Powell was again out talking. He said the aggregate numbers of the U.S. economy are good, but there is pressure on lower income households. Folks, you and I have been talking about the bifurcated economy, the bifurcated consumer, the K-shaped economy for a long time. It is fun to hear the smart people, the folks with the fancy titles, agree with things that you and I have been talking about for years. The U.S. budget is on an unsustainable path. We must look at revenue and spending and get them better aligned. Again, I think what Powell is doing with this statement is shooting a shot at Congress, saying, guys, do your freaking job, right? The Fed doesn't control revenue collection and spending. He's taking the shot at Congress. Higher immigration is part of the reason for growth in 2023. Lowest survey responses has increased volatility in estimates of the labor market. If you don't remember, Powell took a big shot at the Labor Bureau of Statistics or Economic Statistics when we had to do that 815,000 negative adjustment to payrolls. Basically, what Powell is saying is, hey, what he's basically saying is that low responses create more variability. What I think he should be saying is, guys, it's 2025 almost. Can we do a different thing than call people on their home phones? Guys, just because economists used to do it that way doesn't mean you should keep doing it that way. I do want to talk about our school community. We had 3 new members join. We had Renee, Kurt, and Colby. Folks, the school community is at 350 folks, quickly going to 400. If you're watching this channel, you want to get in the right rooms and the right groups, I am providing you with the best place on the internet. It is a place where everybody is going in the same direction. Everybody is speaking the same language. Everybody is helping everyone. I'm doing this on purpose because I want you to win. I want you to be better. I want you to make new friends. I want you to join an accountability group, whether it be one of the 3 general accountability groups, whether it be an accountability group for agents and brokers, or if you want to join the ladies of ORAD, they are there for you. My hope, again, is I'm going to keep putting it out there on video until someone or a couple of someones pick up the torch. I am looking for 2 people to own the out-of-state real estate investing group and 2 people to own short-term and mid-term rentals. Again, these are 2 areas where I am very, very little help. I have done neither and frankly have plans to do neither. But again, as a community builder, as someone who's trying to construct the best place on the internet for real estate investors, I am looking for 2 people to pick up out-of-state investing and short and medium-term rentals. I think that would be a great addition. Just looking at my notes here to see what else we got. Oh, let's talk about the accountability group. Again, Frank with Old Guy REI. 2 hours yesterday, accountability group 23. Folks, that is nearly half a year of doing them. Talked about investing in foreclosures, the pros and the cons. Talked about water treatment and filtration. And we had some new member introductions. Also, folks, the Vegas event is starting to sell out fast. We are nearly 70 days away. I really don't want you to miss getting your tickets. There is no discount coming, none of that stuff. I don't believe in that. Again, the price is the price. There's no Black Friday, this or that. But again, if you would like to come to the event, buy your tickets, flights, hotels, make it happen. Go to Eventbrite. You can look at one rental at a time. If you want to join school, because it's where you've got to be, you can go to school.com. Again, look for one rental at a time. It is the place to be. A couple more things. We'll finish out the list. U.S. jobless claims. Again, we get a weekly number. It is how you and I kind of just stay on top of what's going on in the job market. Last week was 213. Estimates was a slight rise to 215. Actual 224. Again, it's worth understanding that, hey, we got a number that was bigger than expected. A single data point, as we've learned in this number, means nothing. But again, Every time a number comes in higher, especially if it's higher than expected, it gets my attention. Why? Because I am always looking for when the trend reverses. And we have been on a multi-week collapse, fall, crash, whatever, from I think 252 to a low of 213. It's now bumped up to 224. You and I will be paying attention next week and the week after to see if it was a blip or a trend. I do want to give a shout out to Jessley Itzler. Something we've talked about before, but it is worth noting, is the rule of 100. The rule of 100, which boils down to 18 minutes a day. You can go back to all of my videos, and I've always asked you for 20 minutes a day. Jesse Litzler points out if you give it 100 hours, you do it every day for 18 to 20 minutes, you could be in the top 5% of any discipline, whether it be karate, jiu-jitsu, real estate investing, music, You get the drill. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been having this mantra for a long time. Get yourself in school. Let the community help hold you accountable to getting better in learning real estate investing. And then finally, I want to talk about why economists have been so wrong for so long. I feel for the economists because, again, I did study. I've been doing this for 30 years. Economists rely on models. They rely on models that have been built over decades. They occasionally tweak variables in weighting. Economists are horrible at seeing structural change to economy. Economists will hold on to models that are old and unvaluable because that is where their comfort level is. This is one of the reasons that, again, I love economics, but also I love talking to you every day. I love talking to my millionaires who are doing this job every day. Is what allows me to make bold calls very, very early. I want to highlight 4 things that are structurally different in 2024 than they were in 2019. It is one of these 4 or all of them that is why economists are wrong. Number 1, work from home. We are now 3 years into work from home, and yes, we do have occasional tech company or finance company saying the party is over, but in reality, it's not. We likely have 50 to 100% more people working at home 4 days a week than we did in 2019. Why is that important? Well, if you have confidence and certainty of working from home that much, you are willing to make different household choices. You don't have to live within a half hour. You are willing to drive once a week, twice a month from farther away. You can get more houses. What does this mean? It means the urban core is less valuable and out of area is more valuable, both for rent and purchase. Number 2, we have not changed our economic models for the internet. Yes, I said it. There are more ways to make more money on this device than ever before. You don't have to work in an office. You don't have to work from someone. We have more solopreneurs today than ever before. And I am confident in saying we will have more solopreneurs next year than we have ever had. That is changing economic models. Number 2, I believe there is an earthquake going on in the college/trades. For generations, we bought the lie that if you don't go to college, you're a loser. I believe we are seeing at the tail end of the millennials, and more importantly, Gen Z is really getting it. I believe, and I've made several calls that I think we will see colleges shut down and universities shut down because Gen Z is going, I don't need your stupid $100,000 degree on underwater basket weaving. Let me get into the trades. Let me get some mentorship. Let me become a fully licensed individual in 4 years. I think this is an earthquake for the education system. And then lastly, people are living longer. Hence, they are making life decisions later. Again, when you have historical models that say the average person buys their first home in their 20s and now it's in their 30s, your economic models are broken. So again, these are the reasons that I bring you Millionaires. We talk about what's going on in the business. We make early calls, and yes, we are wrong, but we are also right a lot. So that's the daily financial news. Please join school. Take advantage of Jessley Itzler's comment about the rule of 100. It is the place to be. Also, in real life, folks, you're going to make connections, and we are providing you once a year your opportunity to network with 400 other amazing individuals, plus 12, 13, 14 amazing speakers. Get your butt to Vegas, buy your tickets, get your flights, and bring your book. Let's sign some autographs, take some pictures. Folks, like, subscribe, comment, become part of the family. We've got 110 amazing people watching live. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is never lost on me that you guys join. You even join Thursday when we do these things a little bit earlier at 7. The other 4 days we go off at 7:30. Take care. Have fun. Peace.